Many blessings, my loves. My name is Rebecca, and this is my report for Pillars of the Moon for the upcoming lunar eclipse, which is coming up on Monday, the 25th. So, welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I've got this beautiful image behind me of the constellation Virgo. You might be able to see her beautiful wings and her starry crown. So, yes, I'm wanting to share with you some of my musings around this lunar eclipse energy. Um, so let's have a look at this beautiful old image that I found online of Virgo. So in the live sky, which we'll look at in a moment, and constellational or astronomical astrology, this lunar eclipse will be happening in the stars of Virgo. So I think in many other videos I've done in the past, I've shared around the connection Virgo and Isis, Egyptian goddess Isis. And actually, what this constellation represents, which is one of the biggest, I think it is the biggest in the ecliptic belt. Like Virgo is so big, it takes the sun like 44 days or something to go through Virgo. Um, and yeah, like I really see this constellation as the Great Mother, or very goddess kind of energy. So you can see her in this picture here. She's got wings, so she could be like the Queen of Heaven. She could be like Isis, Queen of Heaven. She could be also connected to Demeter, the harvest mother. You can see in her hand here, she's got the grain or the wheat that's harvesting. So it's all about harvesting. And then in her other hand, she's got the symbol of Ophiuchus, which is the Caduceus, which is this double serpent coming up the rod here, which is a sign of medicine and healing. So this is a beautiful image. When I saw this, I was just like, oh my goodness. And then even on her crown here, she's got a Star of David or a six-pointed star, which to me means heaven on earth, So, and on her legs, I counted this as seven stars, which it's like the seven sisters or the seven seed mothers of the Pleiades, So I feel like from this image, it really speaks to me of like what she really represents, because I think in a lot of modern new age astrology, there's this connection with Virgo and cleanliness and this frantic cleaning and needing to get everything orderly and organized um and purity and the Virgin and all of that. But where she is in the wheel of the ecliptic belt, she is at the time of the harvest. She's the time of um the gathering of the all of the fruits of the labors of the work of the year, so she comes after the creativity and the expansion and the growth of the Leo sun, and all of that we're creating out there in the world and growing and making, it's that all that creative energy and all that light. Virgo is about the gathering of all that we have sown, all of the things that we've achieved throughout the year in the sun. The Virgo energy is about gathering it together and making medicine from all that light, from all that creativity. So she really, to me, represents the medicine woman, the healer, the midwife. Um, and we all know, well, not we all know, but a lot of us know that, Egyptian goddess Isis was connected to healing, and that she knew about alchemy and medicine and resurrection. She brought her husband back to life after he was cut into all these pieces, and she brought all the pieces back together and gathered together all of the parts and then created new life for him, like she resurrected him from the dead. So the energy of Virgo connected to Isis, connected to the Queen of Heaven, the Great Mother, who literally spans like a big part of the ecliptic, and is aligned to, the stars of the Great Bear as well, so she's a very, very beautiful constellation to be attuning to. So sharing all that, I feel, is like a good introduction to this lunar eclipse energy. And we'll look at the chart and we'll see like the what may be coming up for us and how we can work with this energy. But I just really wanted to speak to who she is for me, because I think it's a good way to start, because we can go into it with a concept of a constellation, and, that she's so much more than what tropical modern astrology has made her to be, and actually when we're looking at the opposites of Virgo and Pisces, like to me, the Virgo and Pisces axis is really about the Christos and Sophia codes. It's the energy of divine union, and that she is working, and she's working with the Piscean energy to bring this union consciousness into being. And, as she's got the six-pointed star on her head, it's like bringing heaven and earth together. So it's becoming that channel for creative love. It's becoming that channel of life, but also death, and knowing that every new beginning, there's also endings entwined with the beginning, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm going to stop sharing that screen for you all now, and we're going to jump into the live sky. So yeah, you're welcome to do this as well. This is Stellarium Web, and I love, love, love this. This is, you can all look up into the astronomical sky, and so you can change the date to, this is the 25th of March. Let's change the time to 7 o'clock. That's the exact time of the full moon. So this is the constellation Virgo. I mean, you can see how big it is compared to Libra. Look how small the constellation Libra is, and then Virgo is like gymongous. So the lunar eclipse, is when the moon is aligning with the nodes of the moon at its fullness. So the node of the moon right now is actually really close to this star here, which is Vindamatrix. I'll just zoom in. So at the time of the full moon, this is where the moon will be. And during the course of that day, the 25th of March, the moon will cross over Vindamatrix. I'm just going to move the time along, and we can see when it actually aligns a bit more. The moon moves quite fast, right? So, okay, so we can see around about 4 o'clock on the 25th, or 5 o'clock, the moon is coming into alignment with Vindamatrix, and then it will cross over Vindamatrix and move further down towards Spica. So by the end of that day, coming into the 26th, it's going to cross over the south node and move towards Spica, which it will align with Spica. And I'll talk about why that's important in a moment. Yeah, so on the 26th, which is the following day to the full moon, the moon is going to cross over the south node, and then it's going to come into alignment in the afternoon with Spica, fixed star Spica. Spica is a Bohemian star connected to crystal emerald and the herb sage. So yeah, let's go back to the full moon time so we can just tune into that again. So the star Vindamatrix, which was where around the south node of the moon is now, this has a really important element for us to be tuning into for this full moon. So Vindamatrix, this is the hand that is harvesting. So this is where we might see her holding her wheat here. You can see this is the arm, the left, is it the left or the right? It's the arm that's holding the wheat anyway. Um, and so this energy is connected to the grape picker. So the one who's harvesting the grapes. And it's all about resourcefulness and, really making use of what we've sown. And so this is how like the healing and medicine part of it comes in because, once upon a time, the energy of Virgo would be the one who was collecting the herbs, making tinctures, making balms, storing things in jars, making jams and things that are going to take us through the darker part of the year in the winter. So this is perfect, for those of you who are in the southern hemisphere, you've just celebrated your autumn equinox, your Mabon. So you are going into the darker part of the year. So thinking about that as like you are now harvesting all of the season of the summer and gathering and making medicine and healing and finding like, what and also the energy as you're gathering things and harvesting things, there is this element of death as well and endings and of letting go and releasing of the old cycle to make medicine and alchemy from that death. And and in that way, when we think about what Isis did with her husband, resurrecting him from the dead, it's like the Virgo energy is able to gather the old year, the fruits and the herbs and the plants, and resurrect that death into healing and medicine because she knows how to make it keep living on, through wine, through essences and tinctures and balms and jams and syrups and things, So in a way, that harvesting something is a death of something, but the Virgo energies knows how to enable it to transform and alchemize into a new form so it may live on. And that is also, connected to the energy of Yeshua and Jesus Christ. And we are, coming into our equinox energy and the Ostara Easter energy for those of us who are in the northern hemisphere. We are connecting to the energy of the death of Christ and the resurrection into spirit, so much here, right? And when we're looking at Virgo and Pisces, and the energy of Pisces is also connected to Christ. He was the fisherman and he divided the fish out between the people. But the ancient symbol of the fish, is actually the symbol of the yoni. I'll put my hands up so you can see the yoni. And so the symbol of the fish is connected actually to also the gateway of life and death, which is the yoni, the portal, right? So Virgo and Pisces energy are this divine portal of life and death. And actually, where they're falling right now over the equinox, it's really beautiful to work with these energies in that way and attune to the sky as it really is, so that we can come into true alignment with, the seasons around us and the stars. So, yeah, I think that's all I'm going to share about these now because I want to go into the chart with you all. So this is the chart for the full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo, 25th of March at 7 a.m. So yeah, you can see the south node of the moon is here in Virgo, and that is the full moon here. So yes, we have Vinda Matrix, which is just around about here, which is where about the south node is now. So the South Node, is things about what we are really healing and integrating and moving on from. So when we have a full moon at the South Node, it's really amplified of this feeling of letting go of the past and of really healing our collective wounds around this constellation. And so when I was tuning into that, thinking about Virgo as the midwife or the medicine woman, Virgo as the healer and the great mother constellation, the goddess, and Isis, and how through the patriarchal structures and concepts and Christianity, how this incredible mother energy became a pure virgin and all about purity and cleanliness and the Virgin Mary, right? So as we're collectively with our South Node and this full moon, we're healing that, how, you know, what has happened, to us as a collective around the mother line, our mother line, and the women and the birthing and the children, and how we are collectively treating, you know, the mothers and the children and the mother line and the medicine women. I mean, I know I've been working a lot with pregnancy and birth and postnatal care. It's like so much of this energy of the medicine woman and the healer is, it was taken away, and the NHS or the hospital systems have come in, and a lot of births now are cesareans, and um, this power of the midwife as the medicine woman and the healer and all of the herbs that she would use, this energy here, it really reflects like the witch burnings and the witch huntings and the destruction of that feminine wisdom that can gather from the old and be resourceful to sustain life and transform it and alchemize it into another form. That was all burned, and in the lands where I live on, this ancient earth wisdom, like the Druid wisdom, was wiped out, and the old Irish wisdom, it was all colonized, and all of the pagan folk, was burned or made to leave, or it was a really, I mean, this is what we're feeling with this South Node. It's the ancient earth wisdom that was lost, burned, corrupted, and when we're thinking about past lives and all the karma that is carried in this constellation, I really feel like, it's such an important lesson for us now as a collective to be honest about this and recognize that what we have lost, as a collective from the destruction of this energy. And it's like this is where my south node is, and I'm in my nodal return right now. And what I'm feeling is like, so for me, like I naturally have a really like intuitive wisdom with the herbs. Like I can grow things really well, and I can harvest and make potions and tinctures, and it just works. It seems effortless. Like I've done it forever, and I probably have. Right? And somebody will say to me, "Oh, I've got this going on with me. What do you think it is?" And I'll just say, "Oh, you should try this herb and it will help." And I've not studied medicine or herbalism in this life, but it's just something that seems to flow through me. And yeah, so when I'm tuning into the Virgo energy and the South Node and this full moon and what is being brought to the surface, it's like the taking away of that power or the silencing of that power, like that has been like, because when we was all living more tribally and in the land, and I've been getting these flashbacks of, round houses and yurts and teepees and earth houses, and how, when all of these, the people came in and took the power away, it's like the herbalists and the teachers and the seers were the first to go, because they had like the ability to see in the future, and there was witches and wizards and shamans and all of this kind of energy. And this energy of Virgo really is the wise one or the wisdom keeper that um, stands before the gate of transformation, which is the death of Scorpio and the balance of Libra, which these two constellations were originally one. So the Virgo is like the death doula and the midwife who stands at the gate or the threshold She's the guardian of the threshold. So yeah, it's really loaded. This full moon. And then we've got Chiron with the North Node and Mercury in opposition. So, ooh, holy moly. So this is deep, deep healing, deep, deep healing around this full moon. And Mercury with Chiron and the North Node, I mean, communications have just been really awry in my house. Things have felt really quite weird with the communication. And I know Mercury's about to go retrograde as well after the full moon. So Mercury going retrograde is going to go back over Chiron and the North Node and back through Pisces. And then the solar eclipse will happen in 2 weeks. And then it'll move forwards again. So, you know, Mercury has got a big part to play in this full moon as well, and so as I was talking about the devaluing or the silencing of the voice of the wisdom keeper or the witch, that this is where the wounds are. So what we could find to be really restorative um around this full moon is to use our voice to share the wounds, and that is going to help us to heal from this past, from this south node, from all that was, all that's happened, all that is still happening, like in this kind of um, destruction and death and terrible things that are happening in the world, even like with the killing of the children and the families. And it feels like so present now, but also it goes back through history, this um, destruction of life in a way that is really corrupt. So I have drawn a yod, or a finger of God or fate, on this chart, which you can probably see. So the finger of God, or the yod, it's a divine point of energy. So yeah, it's quite a big energy to be working with. And so you can see the two planets here, Uranus and Jupiter, who are getting really close together. They will have their conjunction soon. Um, the energy of Jupiter and Uranus together, it's all about the unique I am energy, like my divine spark of creation, because they're in Aries, Cetus energy. It's that passion and that creativity and that bursting free. And there could be unexpected revelations and spiritual breakthroughs and ideas, and really kind of like taking us off guard, even like, wow, I didn't see that coming, and I might have this new vision or this new idea, and that's really in tune with my soul and my passion. And it's that creative spark that separates us from the collective. It's our unique soul frequency and essence, so coming up here into the sextile with Venus and Saturn, who are together, in Aquarius. This could bring, like I shared in my new moon report, that Venus coming with Saturn, it's like a chance for us to really build structures that are really in tune with our values and our heart, and things that are really meaningful for us. Um, and in Aquarius, we can do that with others. We can do that in the community and in the collective. And so we could be having, with these two energies, with the Uranus and Jupiter and Venus and Saturn at the top of this yod, it's like they could be bringing like these radical, unexpected ideas coming in for the collective, for the community, that's in alignment with our heart and our vision, and like, yeah, humanitarian things. But then the mission of the yard, it's pointing down here to the south node. It's like, wow, no, we really need to heal. There's so much healing that needs to happen, and how can we come into more healing and connection with the earth, with the land, with the herbs, with the medicine that's just here? I know that I'm out there at the moment gathering nettles for my nettle soup and wild garlic, and there's cleavers, and there's so much abundance in nature that's like, this is the wisdom of Virgo as well, like gathering of things, but we may also be feeling, with this equinox energy, it's like we're bursting forth into a new cycle out in the sun for those of us in the north. And those of you in the south are about to go into your underworld of the winter. So, but this is a threshold, this is a point of changing. And spring and autumn are changing times, and nature shows us like through all the flowers and even in autumn, like the leaves and the colors in the leaves, the beauty of change, and it can feel quite turbulent, and we can get storms and wind, and the winds of change come and they stir everything up, right? But nature also shows us the beauty of that change and how it's necessary, when we're in a changing time, to let go of things and make space for more things to come in. So we could be feeling this a lot during this time of like needing to clear out some of the old ideas, or needing to clear out some of the old traumas and patterns that we've been cycling in. Maybe we need to come into completion with a few things in our lives. Maybe we'll be letting go of jobs, relationships, old clothes that we want to sort out, and bring in some new clothes that really reflect who we are now, who we're feeling that we want to express and be. So yeah, just this is the way that I would be working with this energy, is to look at the things that we are ready to harvest and make the most of those resources, make use of that which we're going to harvest, and then make space for the new to come in. And so this could also be bringing up a lot for us, because this is our mission. This is where the yod is pointing. It's like we have to, we will be made to, it will be illuminated for us, all of that which we need to purge, cleanse, release. And so when we're thinking of the Virgo energy as well, and her being the herbalist or the midwife, it could be bringing our health to the surface, that we need to look at our health and our well-being, how we can take care of our health and vitality, and connecting to the wisdom of the earth and the land. Um, so yeah, that could be all coming up to the surface to be looked at. Um, and also this full moon energy is enshrined to Pluto as well. So full moon lunar eclipse enshrined to Pluto, I would suggest that this energy is beneficial for our transformation. Like we are being invited to allow things to die in us, and let go of things, release things, so that the new can come in. Like the transformation is being handed to us. It may be becoming very clear what it is that we need to do to move forward, and how we may have been limiting ourselves before. Yeah, so with the Chiron Mercury North Node in opposition to this full moon, you could be having a lot coming up around our communications. We may be communicating from a unconscious wounded place. We may not be realizing that, our wounds are being coming up to the surface to be really explored and expressed and shared. And so just to keep that in mind, that when we are in communication with others, that we may be triggering each other so that we can communicate from our wounds, and allow that part of us to, bring in some healing for that, for ourselves and each other. Yeah. I was just looking as well at this trine with Black Moon Lilith and Jupiter and Uranus. So Jupiter and Uranus in trine to Black Moon Lilith, it's like the Black Moon Lilith in Leo, it like really wants to express who she is and what she's here to do. She wants to shine. She wants to be in her power and her creativity. And so like we could be using the energy of the I am unique frequency consciousness of Jupiter and Uranus in Aries to ignite that fire inside of us with in trying to Black Moon Lilith. It's like ignite that fire and that passion and that creativity through expressing ourselves, you know, through art, through dance, through singing, through whatever it is, you know, however it comes for us, you know, like how can we express ourselves? You know, this energy with Black Moon Lilith and Uranus and Jupiter, it feels quite really expressing your unique gifts, your radical, out the box ways of what makes you you, what makes me me, what makes us different, what is my special thing, you know, what is your special thing? Really embracing our differences and our uniqueness, and um, it feels really also great healing potential, you know, through really expressing that. And in this grand trine that's coming up with Ceres as well, who's in Sagittarius. This is a grand fire trine, you know, so this energy is like really expansive actually. In Ceres, it's like all about that mothering and taking care and that devotion to our inner mother and mothering. So this feels like we could be getting really creative and expressive, and how that is enabling us to take care of ourselves, and we can feel filled up by being ourselves, by expressing ourselves, and to be courageous. Lilith in Leo, can we please embrace some courage to really express ourselves in this world? Yeah, so I think I'm going to move to the last quarter in Saggy. Just going to quickly talk about this. So we've got Mercury is now retrograde, as you can see. So Mercury's going to go retrograde all the way back through Pisces. And we'll have our solar eclipse. I can't remember the date he goes direct off the top of my head, but that's as far as I'm going for now, at least. And now you can see the Black Moon Lilith has joined the South Node. Oh my God. And is opposing Chiron and Mercury, who's just gone retrograde, and the North Node and the Sun. So yeah, I mean, this is a really big energy. I mean, watch out for our communications again. You know, it could be like our communications are really like, we could be feeling like quite emotional, and how, because Pisces is very watery, could be expressing ourselves in a really sensitive, tender way. You know, don't be surprised if you feel like you want to be more solitary and quiet, really journeying with your writing, even writing about the past, writing about our wounds, and, you know, expressing ourselves that way through poetry and art. And Lilith is in Virgo, you know, it could be feeling like this kind of energy of like, with the Vindamatrix star where the South Node is, like could bring like stuff to do with abandonment or loss, you know. And when we're thinking about the grape picker and the harvest, it's like all that we've lost, you know, through the picking of the grapes means that you know, that's the end of the cycle. So there could be a lot of grief, because Demeter, the harvest mother, you know, she's connected to grief, like the grief of the mother, the grief of letting go of her child, of her seed, of her fruit, you know, and the harvesting and the death of that. It could be bringing up lots around the last quarter moon, which is on the 2nd of April. In Sagittarius, which is conjoined with Ceres. So I spoke about Ceres and this trine that she has with Jupiter and Uranus in Aries. So yeah, I mean, this energy is really, really nice to be working with. Um, this creative, unexpected energy that may be flowing through us through these two joining together in Aries, that could be really sparking creativity and like this, even bravery to break free and to do something new, something different, something radical. And that could be bringing us this sense of real like taking care of ourselves and looking out for ourselves and what we need. And yeah, and in the the waning of the cycle. So the last quarter moon is all about harvest and gathering. So we've got a lot coming in around that, you know. And so for those of us who are in the northern hemisphere, we're in spring and like, what? Gathering in the spring, but we could still be harvesting things from the winter. We can be harvesting the lessons that we've learned from the inner worlds of the dark, of the womb of the winter, all of the things that have come up for us, and how we may have been gestating things inside the womb, and now it's time to bring those things up bring those things up into the light. So yeah, I'm just going to jump into the new moon solar eclipse coming up on the 8th of April. I mean, it's a real big Pisces party. Look at that. We've got Mercury, Chiron, Sun, Moon, North Node, Venus, and Neptune, all in Pisces. So, I mean, this is a really big solar eclipse, and we will talk about that in the next few weeks. I'm going to do another video for you all, but just wanted to give you a little sneak peek, so you can get a little idea. But it's definitely a really big Pisces party. So let's really embrace our dreaminess and our also creativity and empathy one another. So the energy of this full moon lunar eclipse, it really is about releasing things from the past to make space for the new to come in. So by the time we get to the new moon, you know, we're going to be really journeying into the new intentions. We're going to be journeying into, like, the solar eclipse is going to really activate our light. It's going to activate all that we're wanting to birth and create and grow and expand and explore, you know. So the full moon is like bringing up to the surface all the things from the past that may be limiting us or stopping us from really stepping into our power and our creative, juicy loveliness. So yes, and I'll share more on that in a few weeks when I come back. So I'm hoping some of that was useful for you all. And yeah, sending you full moon lunar eclipse blessings. Let's get out on the earth. Let's harvest some medicine and really get that healing coming through the alchemy of the harvest and the gathering of all that has been, to then create space for the new to come in. Many blessings, my love.